Welcome on in, guys. It is the Fighting Now here, back again with another interview. Hopefully, I can go get a chance to lower it down this time. That's not stupid on me. Here we go. There we go. Once again, guys, welcome in to the StreamYard Studios, the home of the Fighting Now interviews. And if you guys want to get a chance to check out StreamYard, I encourage you guys to go check out StreamYard.com. They have a bunch of different deals. They have a bunch of different plans. And they also have a free version for you to get a chance to check it out. It is really awesome. I remember when I first started doing StreamYard about less than almost 2 weeks ago. It's definitely been very, very hopeful. It's been very, very incredible to say the least, especially when it comes to these interviews. But yeah, you know what we gotta do? We gotta go ahead and go ahead and do our shout outs first, real quick. First of all, shout out to RMGFX1.com. They have some incredible merchandise. They have some incredible gear, and you know what? Hey, they have some incredible Fighting Now gear, and I encourage you guys to go check that out at RMGFX1.com. Use promo code Fight Now to save 10% off your entire purchase. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and send a shout out to my brothers at the J and Trey podcast. We have so much in store for you guys. We have a show coming up for y'all tomorrow morning at around 10 a.m. live on the TNT Sports Talk on YouTube. So yeah, I do have some very special guests get a chance to join me. Tomorrow's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be fun, and I cannot wait. We're gonna ready to have Miss Ashley Milana. Hopefully I didn't butcher it, but yeah, we get a chance to have Ashley joining me tomorrow. Also, tomorrow on here at 1 o'clock we have Kristen Gifford. Try not to butcher the names, and of course Lisa Sun at 3 o'clock. So pretty much, what I've been building for is the big interview certain day. But hey, we have big interview Wednesday, so tomorrow's going to be a huge day for yours truly. And of course, you know what we got to do. We got to go ahead and send some shout outs to so many incredible podcasters out there who are building up the community, who's building up in some sort of incredible way. And I can honestly say I'm very, very excited to get a chance to work with such three of these amazing podcasters. They're very incredible. They're very awesome, and I encourage you guys to go check them out. First of all, let's go ahead and check out Mom's Basement MMA. They have been doing a lot as far as interviews. They have merchandise, and you guys go ahead and check them out on Instagram, Moms_Basement MMA. I encourage you guys to go check that out. Also, after what went down between Lisa Sully and Lisa Sun, Liz with the Z podcast did interview Lisa Sun. So yeah, we will get a chance to talk to Lisa Sun tomorrow. But Liz with the Z podcast is doing so many incredible things, and Lisa Sully is just doing tremendous, whether if it's being a fighter or of course being a podcaster. She's been very busy as of late, and I know she is excited for that. And of course, don't forget not only saving, I wouldn't say, you know what I mean. Last but certainly not least, In the Booth by Air Media Productions, and they've been doing so many incredible interviews. I know I can personally say that they're doing amazing, wonderful, and just so awesome at these interviews. So we have so much in store for you guys this week. We just had an interview earlier, and I encourage you guys to go check that out here on YouTube. And if you guys want to get a chance to follow me on Instagram, you guys go ahead and check me out on the Fighting Now. The page is actually getting really huge, and I'm very, very excited to say the least. The page has been so incredible, especially when it comes to a lot of these incredible fighters, incredible podcasters, models. I mean, we've literally been working this page up from the ground up, and it's like we're trying to be able to get to that 4K mark, and it feels really awesome to be able to have the platform that we do right now. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna check on something real quick and see if I can get a hold of anyone. All right. So my apologies, y'all, but hey, we do have a very special guest who's going to be joining me later on. I know she's currently I think she might be at the gym, so she's trying to find a quiet spot. But either way, though, we have the one and only Miss Emily Keck is going to be joining me here into the StreamYard studios. Now, in case you guys don't know who Emily Keck is, she is a tremendous fighter, and I know that she just got doing some incredible stuff as far as the jiu-jitsu side. So yet, I'm very excited to get a chance to have this individual join me. She's a tremendous competitor, whether if it's jiu-jitsu or when it comes to the MMA style. I know she has some news for her, especially when it comes to the next conflict. I think it's going to be like Conflict 50, I believe. I don't know what the event is called, but if you guys are in the South Carolina area and if you want to get a chance to check out Conflict, I encourage you guys to go check that out. When it comes to Conflict, go over to Conflict on Instagram, and yeah, they'll give you all the details. I know Siam Fighting Leagues get ready to do their event come next month, and of course, Extreme Fight Nation has another event next weekend. So yeah, if you guys are in the area for all these huge events, XFN, Conflict, Siam, make sure you guys check them out on their social media pages, especially when it comes to Instagram. They will give you a lot more details on that, and I can honestly say that we are not done with the interviews as of yet. We do have someone joining me on Thursday, and she just had a fight last weekend at Combat Night MMA, which was a kickboxing bout. And I'm very excited to have Miss Milana. She's going to be joining me, and I'm very excited to see how that interview is going to go. All right, so without further ado, we finally get a chance to have the one, the only Miss Emily Keck. Come
Hey,
on,
what's up?
how's it going, Miss Emily?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good.
What have you been up to lately?
So, honestly, kind of what I'm doing right now. Just been at the gym pretty much every single day and just living my best life.
What more can you really ask for, to say the least? But hey, I will tell you this. First of all, welcome to the StreamYard studio. It is an honor to have you. I've been so excited to get a chance to have you on here because I know how incredible you are as a fighter, as a competitor, and not only that, but also as a person as well. So you know what? I think we need to go ahead and get started. And you know there's something that inspires us to do what we do right now. And what inspired you to start fighting?
So, kind of when I was younger, my dad and I, we were very, very close. And something that we always did was we watched like action movies. And when I was little, I played soccer. It was kind of like the closest thing that I could get to having the most contact in a sport. And where I was from, like women wrestling, women MMA, it just like it seriously was just not a thing. Um, but then as I got older and I got out of my hometown, I came down to Myrtle Beach. And Myrtle Beach is known for its martial arts. There's about 5 schools within like 3 or 4 miles of each other. And I remember stepping the first day into this building, and it wasn't even for martial arts. It was for lifting on the CrossFit side. And I looked over there and I was like, man, like that stuff looks pretty cool. Like, can I do it? Like, is this like a guy thing, or can I do this too? And at the time, Andy Wynn and Teeny Candris were both women fighters out of Fitness Edge, and obviously they welcomed me like open arms. And so for me, my inspiration really was more of my interest in doing a sport that I was always told I wasn't able to do or wasn't allowed to do because I was a girl, and
Mm-hmm.
then having that women's support around me is pretty much what just keeps me inspired to keep going.
I was gonna say because not only that, because you're part of a brand new generation of women's fighters. I mean, we've seen women do incredible things, especially on the combat side or the jiu-jitsu side, and I'm so glad that you get a chance to be a part of it. And you
Hmm.
got to thank your dad. You got to thank your dad for him, pretty much, let him inspire you to be where you are today. If it was for him, I mean, you probably wouldn't know where you'd be at.
I'm
But
sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
I, I said if it wasn't for your dad, I mean, you got to think about this. I mean, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't know where you would be at, especially as far as today.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like one of the things my dad always kind of taught me was that you have like no limits to what you want to do. It's
Hmm.
more just about creating that plan to get from point A to point B. Um,
Yeah.
but then there was my mom, and my mom is freaking superwoman. She kind of taught me what it means to be dedicated to something, and regardless of what else you have going on or what your excuses can be, you still got to show up. So, kind of a big example of this was when I was 16 years old, I was like, hey, like, I don't want to play soccer anymore. I just played this sport since I was 3 years old, and at 16, I was like, I'm done. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do this. It's just not for me. But
Hmm.
she made me stick with it, and it was because she was like, you dedicated so much time to this. Like, this one little season of your life is not going to define your whole career and what your dreams are. And
Yeah.
so fast forward a little bit, I ended up sticking with soccer, and I got a Division I scholarship at Coastal, which is what brought me down to Myrtle Beach. And
Hmm.
played my first year there, but then I got medically sick and I was no longer allowed to play. So
Hmm.
kind of all these pieces of my life, I would say, started to add up to really show me what this purpose was. And
Yeah.
one door closed, next one opened. Like I said earlier, I walked into this facility looking more of the lifting.
Yeah.
Then MMA was here, and it was like everything was fate, and it just fell into place.
Well, hey, you not only got a chance to talk, we're going to be talking about the MMA side here in just a few short moments, but I want to bring you back to what happened at I think it was back at this event they did back on February 5th. You pretty much competed for combat jiu-jitsu. Can you take us through that fight?
Yeah, so pretty much with that match, I prepared for about, I would say, 6 to 7 weeks. I knew out that I was going to have this match. I knew it was a very game opponent. She's a purple belt, very high level. She's actually from the town I grew up in, like the town over. And so I knew the level of jiu-jitsu that she was going to be bringing down here. On top of, I just saw that she competed on Fury. She competed against Danielle Kelly. So she's had all that experience and opportunity that I hope to one day get. And
Yeah.
so my main goal going into that match, knowing I was the underdog, was really just to get that experience, to see what it would take to get to that next level.
Yeah.
The match went, pretty much as quick as my conflict fight did. But this time I was on the other end of it. I went for a double leg takedown. I didn't circle my legs. So those little mistakes at that level will cost you. And she wrapped up a guillotine that I swear I thought my head was going to pop off. I was like, this is so tight. I tapped. And honestly, the first thing she apologized for was not having us get the ability to literally slap each other, which is hilarious. Like, you never would think like two girls would be like, I'm so sorry we didn't get to slap, but we did, and we talked a little bit, and I ended up being able to gain somebody that now I can go home and train with.
I mean, plus you got that experience that you also been wanting to need. I mean, plus that also helps you out, especially in the long run, whenever you start doing more super fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so actually this past weekend, after that experience, I just said, what, screw it. This loss is not gonna define me. I'm gonna go do IBJJF. So went to
Yeah.
IBJJF. Again, placed third there. I think I posted that over the weekend. And then moving forward, I try to get as many super matches as possible. One, they're free. It's the only way to really freely compete in jiu-jitsu. And
Hmm.
luckily, I have Ultimate Battleground here, which is local promotion in Myrtle Beach that literally has a show, I feel like, every month. And they're constantly putting on jiu-jitsu matches. Super fights are really important. I would say anyone that is looking to compete at the next level and to compete in martial arts, like super fights, like, you have to do them.
I definitely do respect that, especially since you're competing. Every month is what it seems like. Whether if it's jiu-jitsu or even to the MMA side, and plus you're doing something to help you with your experience level, and I definitely do admire that. Talking about this, before your fights, there's always training, and we always end up having that one hardest part that we deal with in the training, whether if it's the mind games, a physical game. What would you say is the hardest part of your training, in your own opinion?
So honestly, it's time. So I work a full time job. I work 9 to 5, and that position, I'm the head of an entire department. So
Hmm.
I have the stress of work on top of trying to fit in my schedule, my classes, my lifting sessions, my runs, and it's constantly like you wake up at 5 a.m. You wake up to work out, then you fuel yourself, and then you go work, and then you go home and you fuel yourself again, then you go right to training again, and then you get home at 9:30 and you're trying to go to sleep and you can't because you got pre-workout in your system, and then you wake up and do it all over again on like 4 hours of sleep. But I think that's also what I crave, is like that push, and it's like that constant schedule, and knowing that what I'm doing, I'm filling my day with everything that I love to do. And I think that's the
Yeah.
key to it, is if you don't love to do this stuff, then it's one of the most mentally demolishing things that you can do, to go into something where at nighttime you're getting punched and choked and all these things. And if you don't like that stuff, you probably shouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, you can grow to appreciate it too. And I've seen
Yeah.
so many people come in here like nervous and being like, I don't want to hit you, to by, 2 weeks later, they're full on punching you. And it's like, yeah, like, let's go. Like I've seen all this progress in you. Like, this is awesome.
No.
So yeah.
Well, hey, I have a picture that I want you to explain because I have not one but two pictures. The first one, I want you to explain this. What went down on this very picture?
Oh man. Yeah. So I remember kind of just like, when you're small, like you don't ever think you're ever gonna get a knockout. So I was on like cloud nine. I was more like, oh shoot, like I just did that, like that's so cool. And I remember like ran over to the cage. I grabbed the cage and I was like, let's go. And I remember like literally like screamed into it. And then I remember like turning to the camera and like pointing at it and being like watch, like I'm coming. Like this is just the beginning.
I was just say, whenever I saw this, I'm like, okay, I had to be able to bring this up because that was so incredible. I watched the fight, and you did a tremendous job. And the next picture I have is about this next question. Okay,
Yep.
it's about this one.
Yep. Yep.
So pretty much, in case y'all don't know who he is, this is what would you say, your boyfriend?
Yep. Yep, that's my boyfriend. And actually he's my coach as well. We didn't so it's actually kind of funny. We didn't actually meet at the gym. I worked as like a handout flyer girl at one of our local clubs, and he was the head of security there. And then when I walked into the gym for that CrossFit side, I happened to look over and he just happened to be the coach. And so like where fate was with the sport, it was kind of like fate meeting him as well.
Yeah.
5 years later, we're still together. And through my
Wow.
entire journey, like he's taught me every single thing that I know. I mean, obviously, I have other coaches too. I have Tomar Washington, I have Ken Davis, I have Joe Selecki,
Hmm.
even John Salter when I go up to Salty Dog and train with them. But like foundationally and skillfully, like he has taught me everything. Um,
Yeah.
he's really taken that kind of coach role, but it's different than most relationships. We're in the gym, like it's game time. Like he's my coach, I'm his student, and we do a really good job at separating that out. But then outside, when we walk out, close the doors, we're holding hands, we're going home and making dinner. And the best part about that relationship is how much we do push each other.
Yeah.
On and off the field. So an example is, if I am in here, sometimes you have a bad night and you're upset, and it's you have those people that know what to say to you.
Yeah.
And then also on top of that, they're the ones that when you go home, they're also the ones that are saying, hey, like, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
But this is what you got to do to get better. And then they're waking you up at 5 a.m. to make sure you're getting up and you're not missing that training session.
Yeah. And one thing I really noticed about you two is like you both helped one another. Whether if he's training for a fight, you always help him out. If you're training for a fight, then he's always helping you out. And that's something I do admire because whenever I see both of y'all, and he's like, it seems like he's been like the biggest supporter. He's like, I can't wait to see my girl go back out there and do what she does
Yeah.
best. And it's just like, and the one thing I have to really ask is like, how much encouragement do you guys give to one another, especially when it comes to fight week?
Oh man. So we're actually like kind of like completely opposites when it comes to fight week. So fight week, I don't even like text him because I know like for him to get into the mindset he needs to be like by himself, focused and driven. And for my side of it, like I just have to remember that that's just his personality. And I've never been like that girlfriend that's like, why aren't you talking to me? Like no, like I'm just accepting that this is part of your career. And if this is what you want to do, we'll sacrifice whatever we have to get you there. And
Yeah.
because of that, he's also always forever has reciprocated that same exact thing. No matter what endeavor I've wanted to dive into, he has always been there being like, yeah, like you can do that. Just do it. Like what's stopping you? And you're like,
Yeah.
you're right. And what's actually really cool is before that fight, so the girl that I fought at Conflict, she walked out to the song that I debuted at for my MMA fight, the A Millie by Lil Wayne. And so
Ooh.
I turned around. He was like, she's walking out to your song. That is disrespectful. Fight her. And I was like, let's go. And then yeah.
Oh, man, that is great. That is great. Which, by the way, shout out to your boyfriend because I know he's doing incredible things, helping you out, helping others out. So shout out to
Yeah.
him.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that's just awesome. If you guys have not got a chance to see the photos or anything, go check her out on Instagram at Emily Keck too. And you talked about time when it comes to training, and there's one thing I really got to ask about, and this I want your own opinion about this is the mental part. How do you handle the mental part? Because I know it's got to be like your mind goes to one place, your mind goes to the other place. How do you handle that?
So it's actually funny. So I never like expected myself to like see a therapist for what you think about, but I decided I was like, what could be bad about seeing one? So I really am an advocate for like talking to somebody that's a professional about what you're dealing with in here. And I think one of the things that I pulled and took from her the most was that the energy that you allow into your body and your mind and your soul is what you allow. So
Yeah,
if say somebody else in the gym's having a bad day and they got, a stank face on and they're like not wanting to roll with you, they're just being rude, like, look, I don't need you. Like I got other people. If
yeah,
I find myself thinking like, man, like I suck, like I don't know if I can do this anymore, I remind myself why am I doing this?
mhm,
Um and I mean the why is kind of speaking for itself is really like okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. So when I first started, I was teaching kids almost immediately. And what
yeah,
I saw with these kids was the inspiration of the girls that I looked up to when I was playing soccer. And I was like, that's why I'm doing this. It's because I'm able to show another whole generation that there is no limit,
yeah.
period. Whatever you want to do it. Because, like I told you with my father, was that's what he showed me. And so, if I'm to do one thing on this earth, is that's what I want to leave my legacy as is limitless.
Yeah. And you talked about it when it comes to kids. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have so many young kids, training with you guys. I mean, how much of an impact do you try to make on these kids, especially if they deal with like depression or anything? This is like their way of escaping from everything.
Yeah. So these kids, especially in my area, they are not wealthy. They come from really really bad places,
Hmm.
and this is their safe haven. I try to make it as safe as possible for them in here, whether it's you can, there's some kids that are, they think they're better than other kids, they try to pick on each other, but you always have those consequences for those people. But you also have to teach them those lessons of why it's wrong, because at the end of the day, kids are a product of their environment, and sometimes they just don't know better until
Yeah.
you do reach an age, and then you are held accountable for that stuff. um, but I remember this one time we were in wrestling class, and this girl came in to do King of the Hill. And so King of the Hill, it's you just kind of push the kid out, or you take him down. Whoever does one of those first wins.
Hmm.
And it was the girl's turn to go in, and I heard a boy go, "Oh no, you can't lose to a girl." And I turned to him and I said, "All right, your turn. You're going in." And I knew this girl was a complete savage, right? And he was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, no. You wanna talk up. It's your turn to go in." And I looked at her. Her name's Ariana, and I was like, "Double leg him." And she's like, "Okay." She went and double legged him, and I said, "Look who just got beat by a girl. Now you're gonna go sit in that corner, and you're done for class for the day. And then you're gonna tell your parents why you're not done for why you're sitting for their class for the rest of the day." And he never once again said anything about a girl. And so it's the job as the coach to be able to one understand how to kind of address those situations, but then also understand that some, like I said, some kids just don't know any better, but it is our
Yeah.
responsibility to teach them that stuff.
I definitely do admire that, to say the least. And yeah, if you see this person here, tell her I said good job on the takedown. First of all,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, man, she's a beast. Like I love that little girl, she's awesome.
that is just awesome. That is just awesome. I mean, girl power, and I respect that so much. And talking about this, it seems like the journey either has its road bumps, to say the least. And since you started, what has been the hardest part of your journey? I mean, there's got to be a lot that has happened, and
Yeah.
I mean, take
So
us through that.
the hardest part, is learning how to be okay with humility in the sense of like you are doing the most vulnerable thing ever. You are
Hmm.
literally fighting somebody in front of a crowd for somebody else's entertainment. Because fighting's fun, but nobody actually wants to like get knocked out or, have the worst case scenario happen to them. But you find out and you face yourself every single time you're in that cage or in
Yeah.
the ring or you're in a wrestling match. And then you have to do it in front of a whole entire audience. That's the hardest part. I think nobody really prepares you for that, and then nobody prepares you for the first time that you lose in that sense. Um, and I think that's one of the hardest things. So my first fight, it was a Muay Thai fight. I was like 6 months into training, and I just like
Mm.
told Cody, I was like, "Yo, I'm fighting." And he was like, "You're not ready." And I was like, "Well, there's two other people going, and I actually already put my name in, and I didn't know what the process was, so I'm fighting." And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "If you want to." God, I honestly wasn't doing too bad, but she ended up hitting me with a two and then a liver shot, and I thought my soul came out of my body. I went down, and it actually wasn't until I went and trained with the Charleston Muay Thai girls that I realized the level that girls kind of train at is different. Like before, I was kind of just training with like guys, and they were always going light with me, and then I got hit for real, and I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. But the humility of it was the girl got fight of the night. She knocked me out. And then when I walked off the stage, literally I had somebody come over with a shot and go, hey, you need this. And I was like, well, yeah, you're not wrong. But now, fast forward 3 years, now look where I'm at. I'm doing that too to people.
Yeah.
Um, when I think it's pretty cool to see where you were from, like where you started, and then now where I'm at. And that's only in 3 short years.
Yeah, and first of all, shout out to all the Charleston Muay Thai girls. They've been so incredible, to say the least.
Oh, they're awesome.
And oh, without a doubt, I'm getting ready to have another one of them coming on here tomorrow, and I
Nice.
can't wait. But talking about your journey and to see how you went from 3 years ago to where you are, do you ever just look back and think, I started off getting knocked out, and then look at where I'm at today? Do you ever just think about that a lot?
Oh, I think about it all the time because I'm also able to give advice to the new people coming in, being like, hey, don't do what I did. Do not rush into this. Do some PKBs before. Start here. This is then the next level. And now here's the next level. So even though I made those mistakes and I look back and like, dang, I probably shouldn't have done that, I'm happy I did it because then I learned those lessons to be able to teach my other teammates that are new teammates and old teammates.
That's really, really awesome, and I think people will admire you for that because I know you got a bunch of stories that you can be able to tell them that they'll learn from you, especially whenever you first started and to get to where you are at. I mean, you're pretty much just such an incredible inspiration, and I think people can admire that really and truly. And there's been so many goals that we want to achieve, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what it is, whether if it's for MMA or jiu-jitsu, whatever it may be. Do you have any goals that you want to achieve this year?
So for this year, I'm just kind of trying to fight as much as possible, which is not starting out very, very strong, but at least I have jiu-jitsu. So whether
Yeah.
I'm chasing grappling rounds or MMA or Muay Thai rounds, I want to compete literally every weekend if I could.
Yeah.
We have this saying here is when you compete, you level up. So if I have even 30 opportunities to level up this year, I mean, that's better than someone who doesn't take any. So my goal, whether what the result is just literally to put myself out there as much as possible.
And I think you're doing such an incredible job, to say the least. I mean, you're already starting off strong with the jiu-jitsu. I hope we get a chance to see you back into the cage side, or if it's
Absolutely.
wherever it may be. And there's something that you're going to be doing here in a couple of weeks when it comes to conflict. You're going to be I think this might be for the first time for you, Nicole, and Anatole are going to be ring girls for the next conflict event.
Yeah.
I mean, are you excited about that? I mean, what is the nerve?
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited for it. I've never done anything like it before, and I know like sometimes like I've honestly like I never had a problem with ring girls, but I guess there was a thing where people were like, "Oh, ring girls, like whatever they are." But I think it's kind of fun. Like I think it'd be cool to like dress up and put my Converse on and walk around and show that women can be strong and chiseled and like sexy as well as the girls that are on the UFC with like definitely more womanly bodies, you know. But also, like, I always loved being in front of a crowd. When I was in high school, I did my school's battle of the bands, and I, went on stage, and I liked being in front of people. Even with martial arts, like being in the cage, I feel like is when I'm at my best because I'm in front of people, showing them what I can do. Same thing with being a ring girl. Like, I'm just gonna go out there, have fun with it, and cheer on my teammates when they are in there and fighting. Because my teammate Jordan Weeks is actually fighting that night.
Really? Well, hey, wish the best of luck to him because not only that, but you also think about this though. There's also other fighters who used to be ring girls: Ebony Bridges, Casey Wheeler, Janie Savage. There's so
Yeah.
many incredible fighters who started off from being a ring girl to just being where they are today.
Even
And
Danielle
I'm
Kelly. She was a ring
Daniel
girl
Kelly.
before she became and shot up into being a black belt.
Exactly, exactly. So yet, I don't want to see anyone bashing over the ring girls because you never know what they can do, especially if it's
Yeah.
doing ring girl or doing the fighting stuff. And shout out to all those ladies who are just doing incredible things, to say
Yeah,
the
and I
least.
know that night they definitely don't want to be picking on me, Anna, or do you know who else is ring growing? Nikki?
Yeah, 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 Nikki, yeah,
And
Nikki.
Nikki, yeah. Nobody wants to mess with any three of us.
I was gonna say, whenever you have you and Nikki and I don't think any of y'all will want to be messed with, considering the fact that they'll either get knocked out or tapped out. Either way, which one do they
Yeah.
want to get asked for?
Literally. And even like Amy's fighting on that card tonight too. And actually really funny story. Amy and I went to high school together. And then I didn't even know that she did martial arts until I showed up at the school one day and I was like, yo, Amy, like, what's up? And she's like, you do this? I was like, yeah, I do this. You do this? She's like, yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool.
I was gonna say she asked me to send a link for the interview. So yeah, and I know how incredibly supportive she is as a teammate because I talked about
Yeah.
her on the tools interview.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch any of her teammates fights, you can hear her say, "Get up, hit him with that right, hit him with that left."
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's that Bucktown spirit in both of us. I'm the same way. When my teammates are fighting, like if I think the decision's wrong, oh, I'm like the mama bear. I'm like, no, that is wrong. Like I'll be the first one to stick up for them. But yeah, no, Amy is actually she helped me with my last conflict fight as well. She actually did my strength and conditioning program, and every morning, even though I had to be up at 5 a.m., she was messaging me, "Hey, girl, are you up? Are you getting your stuff done?" And she was even supportive through the phone, and that's awesome.
yeah, I mean that goes to show how much respect and how much she cares about you, especially what you're trying to do. And I know you're going to be cheering her on when it comes to her
Oh
fight
yeah.
at Conflict. And I gotta say, I am having so much fun with this. And yet, by the way, if you guys want to get a chance to, oh, didn't mean to do that. My apologies. Oh, fingers. But either way, here's what I was trying to get at here. If you guys want to get a chance to follow Miss Emily on Instagram, it is Emily Keck2. I mean, you guys don't want to miss out. And if you guys want to check out the Conflict event, I encourage you all to go check out Conflict on Instagram as well. I think it's Conflict MMA, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all check that out. Is there any final comments or any final thoughts that you have to say before we hop off the air?
Well, honestly, I kind of just want to thank you for this opportunity to speak and kind of speak my story and what I want to leave here on this earth for everyone in the future. And always shout out to my gym and all my sponsors. Few Will Hunt, they're out of Philadelphia. Those, they're the Go Eagles. And we got my coaches, Cody Jones, Ken, Tomar, and Joe Slucky. Always want to give them as much appreciation as possible. They give up their lives for this. Like, there's one thing that I would say: if you're in the Myrtle Beach area, like, come to this school. Our coaches aren't there just to coach you. Like, it is their lifestyle. So if you want martial arts to
Yeah.
be your lifestyle, come here.
And not only that, be it also, I do want to thank you so much for being on here because, like, whenever I first talked to you, when I first shouted you out, I'm like, I hope one day I get a chance to interview her because of how awesome and how sweet you seem. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna make sure we get this interview going because I want everyone to get a chance to recognize how incredible you are, not only as a fighter, but as a coach, but as a person, but for what you're doing for MMA and for Jiu-Jitsu. It's gonna be so incredible to say the least. I know the best is yet to come for you, my friend, and you're doing an awesome and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate it. And hopefully we can interview again in a couple of months and we'll have some more things to talk about.
Hey, plain and simple, we're not worthy to get a chance to have you on here. But Emily, it's been so much fun, and yeah, we'll definitely get a chance to have you back on later on, hopefully this year. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Later. Later. That was the one, the only Miss Emily Keck. She was so awesome to say the least. And guys, that was an amazing interview. Shout out to Emily Keck. Once again, if you guys want to get a chance to follow her, it is at Emily Keck 2. Just so incredible as a person, as a fighter, and as someone who's got the biggest heart you'll ever get a chance to meet. And the stories that she shared were unbelievable and so incredible. So make sure you guys follow her. Make sure to follow me at the Fighting Now because that is it for that was the second of our two interviews that we had today. Don't forget to check out all previous interviews here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you won't miss out on any interviews that I have stored for you guys. Tomorrow is going to be a very big day. Going to be a very big day for one reason because for one we have the J and Trade podcast Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the TNC Sports Talk. And we have so much heading your way. We got not one, not two, but three interviews. One on the Jay and Trade podcast, and then the other two is going to be right back here on YouTube. Christine Gifford and of course Lisa Sun. So I encourage you guys to make sure to tune in for those interviews because they're going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be a lot of incredible, and the best is yet to come. But yet until then, I am Jake. Make sure to follow me at the Fighting Now, and don't forget one last thing to check out our friends at rmgfx1.com. Use promo code Fight Now to save 10% off your entire order. But hey, I am Jake. I am the Fighting Now saying so long, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So we'll see you then.